Let's dive in. All right, welcome to our weekly call here. Let's see. Last week, Ethan sent in a couple questions, so we'll start with those. Let's see. First one was, well, Tom sent in a question. He's not here yet, but he was first, so he'll get his question answered. He had sent in a link to a blog written about how Facebook was supposedly cracking down on like bait. And what they're calling like bait is like running ads that say, like our page if you love dogs. And previously to that policy, that had worked really well, and we were getting fans at pennies a piece. Now, why they might be doing that is in the name of improving their quote-unquote user experience. However, we haven't noticed a significant difference. We're still running those same type of ads. Facebook didn't say they were going to get rid of it. They just said they were going to push it down lower on the news feed. So they were tweaking their edge rank algorithm to sort of be biased a little bit against it. We haven't noticed a difference in our ad cost. So maybe that change hasn't happened yet, or maybe our people are just liking things anyway. So as of right now, it's still working.
Doing it?
Yes.
Okay.
We haven't seen a dramatic decrease in our click-through rate, our like rate. We haven't seen a dramatic increase in our cost per like. So at the moment, as far as we can tell, it's still working. So that's the answer to Tom's question. And let's say it's funny, I was just asked this on a podcast on somebody else's show about a week ago. And let's say that we're true. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you've got to be better at it.
Right.
It means instead of saying in the wild, wild west days of, a month ago, when you could say, like our page, if you love your dog, and lots of people would like it, you just need to write better copy. So maybe that's something. So for example, we're doing like campaigns right now for a college planning service, helping your kids get financial aid to college, even if you make too much. And so instead of one sentence, which was like our page, if you have a kid who's going to go to college, we added 2 extra sentences as a preemptive strike against it being considered like bait. So again, we haven't seen a huge difference yet. We're preemptively just writing another sentence or 2 of copy, so it's less obvious to Facebook's algorithm searching for that evil like bait. God forbid somebody likes something.
So is this something we should be thinking about doing, Seth? Because we're not doing that.
If you're not running ads to get more followers, we can certainly, because we're running your ads now with great success. If we are happy to increase your fan base.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I think
maybe a month ago, it might have just said, like our page if you have a son who's a pitcher. Now it might be 3 sentences long, and there might be like a link to Ron did a video a couple weeks ago that got a lot of engagement. Maybe now instead of just a 1-sentence like ad, it's 3 sentences in a video going, like our, and if you've enjoyed this video, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Okay.
So it's not that you can't do it. If that policy turns out to be true and it turns out to happen, it's just going to make you work a little bit harder.
Sure. And is that something like, when you say that, the like concept, is it general, like, would it be if Major League Baseball is going to expand to more teams? Would it be something like our page, if you like that concept? Or, is that too
Sure.
out there?
No, you could test it. You could do like our page. If you, here's a link to an article on ESPN that talks about how MLB is going to go to more cities. Like our page if you're excited about the possibility about more teams.
Right. Okay.
So instead of just like our page if you love baseball, or like our page if you have a kid who plays pitcher, 2 more sentences.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's probably something I'll make a note so we can then add that as maybe something to look at and test a little bit in our stuff.
Absolutely. Okay. Put that on our agenda for our call next week. Okay. Second question that came in was Ethan's. Ethan sent me a link to a very long post by Mark Zuckerberg where they were going to try and make your news feed less cluttered with ads. It was basically his rant on darn these darn advertisers who are advertising, and people are complaining. I don't know how many it takes before Mark Zuckerberg writes like a 1.5-page rant about it, but talking about how people's news feeds are getting cluttered. and we're going to skew it more so they see you're more likely to see stuff from, you know, people you're actually friends with or the things that you're actually a fan of than every merchandise.
Yeah, at first, my first thought was that seems so disingenuous because they like built their business on the backs of the people that add, and then to turn around and kind of skew
right.
them.
So I agree 100%. So he's doing that to appease users.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, Facebook isn't a social network. They make no money from social. They only make money by having us run ads. So he can't say we're going to cut off advertisers because then their $40 billion in stock valuation goes in the toilet.
Yeah.
Because it's their only source of revenue. So he can say something so that it looks like users are, hey, we're on this. We understand that your newsfeed has gotten over cluttered with ads. We're going to cut back a little bit. Again, we haven't seen any changes in pricing. We haven't seen any official policy come out. Again, if they make it harder to advertise, they're going to lose a ton of money.
So you don't think it'll have any impact on like things we've talked about over the last couple of weeks? Just keep going normal?
Yeah, until something actually, I mean, it's like someone in Congress can talk about tax reform, but until a law passes, you can't change, you know, your W-2 doesn't change. So I think he's talking to, there must have been some ungodly number of people clicking the little, I shouldn't see this ad button or this ad is spam button next to ads for him to actually say something about it. But again, his whole business is an ad agency. And if they start making it harder to advertise, they lose a lot of money. So I'm not losing any sleep over it. I think he's just doing it to say, look, privacy people and consumers, we care about what you think, but I don't think we're listening to you. But I mean, right. It didn't say we're going to change this tomorrow or we're going to reduce ad exposure by 20% because in my view, they really can't. I mean, they're kind of held hostage to their advertisers because otherwise they have no money. So, I mean, again, we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, if we hear anything from our Facebook ad reps or we notice a dramatic spike in costs or a dramatic decrease in engagement, obviously we'll tell you guys. But at the moment, we haven't seen anything different.
Okay.
And I can't really think he's going to go bite off his nose to spite his face because the only way if let's say they lose 20, 30% of the ad revenue, the only way they could make that up, I mean, start charging for Facebook, although their landing page where you go sign in still says it's free and always will be. And the only way it can be free and pay for those tens of thousands of employees is ad spend.
Or if they raise ad costs.
Right, they could. But again, the more they raise ad costs, that actually may or may not be good for advertisers because a whole lot of the people who shouldn't really be advertising there, who are bidding up prices and wasting money and doing crappy ads would go away. It's like when the mortgage bubble burst and half the mortgage industry, subprime bubble burst in 07, 08, and half the mortgage industry left. The ones who stayed had a business that wasn't built on subprime refis when people made no money. Yeah. You know, DOL rule, financial advisors, you know, we should have been acting as fiduciaries and doing the best thing for our clients all the way along.
Yeah.
You know, when the market tanks and advisors leave, they were there for the easy money and then they're gone. So if it turns out that ad costs go up a little bit and some easy money advertisers disappear, I mean, that makes our ads more effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not expecting it, like they go up, it'll go up marginally, but not like double the costs. And stuff like
God.
that.
If they go up at all, I can't imagine it'd be much.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, not worried about it. I appreciate you. I see, obviously, if you've got concerns, if you see stuff, obviously, please let us know. But again, no, I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
All right. Next thing Jill is our resident case study / testimonial / poster child for success. When we switch to the lead form ads for her get your free DVD picture package. Yay. We're now up to 61 of those. The first 22 came in around $13.53 each. We, again, current campaign running that we used all the optimized data from that. We've got 49 leads at $7 a pop, so less than half the cost. Again, we're going all straight iPhone, Apple users, because we found that the only people responding, interestingly enough, were iOS devices.
Yeah, it's going to be the other thing, Seth, that I think is going to be interesting about this, and obviously we'll talk about it more when we have a one-on-one time, is that we're all things considered, we are not doing this at the prime time. That'll probably be in
it's January. It's not baseball season.
Yeah, next 30 to 60 days, because we're marketing to events that are going to be June through September. So
right. So I'm thinking as soon as the weather, I mean, it's Buffalo, not your target market anyway. But as we get nicer weather and they get outside more because all the travel teams are practicing indoors in a lot of cities now anyway, a lot of states now anyway, I'm imagining your responses get even higher and your cost goes even lower.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So it'll be interesting to see what our conversion rate is on these, because and then versus that, and then not only that, but then the leads / conversion rates. And that's why this funnel is pretty long, which is good, because by the time third mailing comes, people might finally be starting to think about summer if they haven't jumped and committed already.
Yeah, interesting thing we found testing headlines. So we're in the next week, we're going to get a new wave of ads up, because I don't know if you've been watching the videos of all the weekly calls, but when I got this in the mail, I said, there's a gold mine of stuff in here that we haven't tested yet. So for example, I mean, there's a ton of stuff to use for headlines on Facebook. There's this quiz on the front that would be great as a front end of a funnel, as people taking a quiz. All of the bullet points of what they get will be headlines we can test. I don't know if you saw, I had sent an email saying, you've got 1 million testimonials in here of pictures and testimonials. Can you send me those? Because I
didn't see. You and I must be having some kind of gap. I got to either pay close attention. No, I did not. So that's not
okay. So can you send me all the pictures, the JPEGs, and the blurbs as like a Word doc? And then I would love to test running 20 different ads and see, let's have a testimonial contest and see which one pulls better. And see if the testimonials, because we found that case study ads that show people having success consuming your product or service work really well. So let's test the 20 different testimonials against each other, and then take like the top 5 and make a video out of that. Other interesting thing we saw, changing one word in your headline, improve results over 50% and dramatically reduce the cost.
Wow.
So for example, the cost per, headline, so after the first wave of ads that generated the first 22 leads, we were down to, the best performing headline was, is there an elite pitcher in your house? Our cost per lead on that, when we optimize it, was down to $8.98. And the cost per click was expensive. The cost per lead is great. Which says the cost per click of $2.72 says we only need like 3 clicks. We're getting like a 33% conversion rate, which is insane. So then what we did was we added one word, and instead of, is there an elite pitcher in your house, it now says, is there a future elite pitcher in your house?
Nice. Yeah.
It tripled the number of clicks we got. It cut the cost per click from $2.72 to $1.21, almost by half. And it took the cost per lead from $8.98 to $5.50. So one word.
And just so the other guys know on our call, I mean, again, that's why conversions are such a big thing, is we're talking about a price tag of the marketing that we're marketing to them is between $1,700 and $2,000.
Yeah. So they've got a high ticket item, $1,700 to $2,000, and we're now down to paying like $5-6 a lead. I mean, technically they could buy 200 of them, close one, and probably still break even. Now, obviously, our goal for conversion on the end of this, which we're not in charge of yet, is for them to convert a ton out of those 200. And then this becomes the most profitable thing they ever do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exciting. Thanks, Seth.
You are welcome. And then obviously we're letting iPhone is winning versus iPad and iPod. We stopped iPod simply because it wasn't people weren't responding. So right now it's iPhone and iPad.
Where do you find that information?
That's all in Facebook. So here, you know what? I will go. One of the things we did here, Jill, okay if I share your that from your Facebook account of where they find it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're in ads account. So for example, let's go to audiences. And of course, we're building an retargeting audiences of everybody who watches the video and does not opt in to get them back. But let's go find, let's see here. We'll do a prospect list. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I'm sorry. Audience insights. They keep moving stuff around. All right, so if I go to audience insights, I pick a custom audience. I pick Jill's prospect list. I can then, let me move Zoom buttons out of the way so I can see. I can then go through to device users. I go down to activity. I go to device users, and you will see Jill is 100% iPhone, iPod.
So these are the people that viewed her ads were using iPhones.
Yep. No, 0 Android, 0 computer, 0 BlackBerry. I mean, Blackberries are dead, but 0 BlackBerry.
I'm surprised none of it is computer even.
I know. 0% desktop. Yeah.
Would that tell you that most people that are initially seeing your ads are younger kids? Because most likely they're not on a computer, they're seeing their
These
ads.
aren't kids. We're not targeting the kids. We're targeting the fathers.
Yeah, it hasn't shown to be.
Oh, wow.
We're specifically
Men
going
35 to something, isn't it? Men
it's 35 to 54 is 100% of your audience. So 100% is women 35 to 54, 33 men is 45 to 54. Because again, it's not the kid who's paying the $2,000 to come to the Texas baseball ranch. It's his dad.
Yeah.
So we haven't tested a separate campaign aimed at kids going, hey, go show this to your parents. I think it'd be a little trickier to target. But right now, this is what obviously going after the dads, saying, because the dads are stereotypically, I'm being sexist, freely admit that, but dads are the ones who are taking the kids to practice. Dads are the ones who are playing catch in the backyard. Dads are the ones who may have played baseball at some level, high school, college, and are never made it and are living vicariously through their kids. Dads are the assistant coaches. I have experienced all of that except the frustration on the soccer side as a parent myself. I never tried to make it to college or pro soccer because I discovered business and soccer couldn't hold my attention anymore.
Now, to get all of these insights, you need to have run ads. Right?
You need to do one of two things. No, one of three things. One, you can either have run ads that you can run an analysis on. Two, if you have a client or prospect list, an Excel file with their email addresses, you can upload them as a custom audience and it will tell you how they access Facebook.
Okay. It
may not tell you how they click on their ad if you haven't run any yet, but it will tell you where they're accessing Facebook from. Number three is you can, in Audience Insights, you can create a new audience. Let's say you don't have an email list and you haven't run any ads. You could create a custom avatar of who you think your client is, and it will tell you those people on Facebook get here on this way. So you may say, I want mid-level purchasing managers at industrial manufacturing companies, and you may build that in Audience Insights, and you may find when it runs that magically they're all on Blackberries.
Gotcha. And then you said, I think in a previous call, that you, by cutting out ads on the other devices, you were able to be more focused and cheaper because you were running them just on iPhone.
Yeah, Jill's first ads, I don't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to go look. But the first wave before that, I think it was like 17, 18 bucks a prospect, and just switching to iOS only dropped it to 13, and then optimizing headlines and body copy got it down to 8, and then optimizing it, now we're down to 5. And again, we're going to test testimonial ads, different headlines ads, see if we can get it even lower. And then at some point, they'll either build out the quiz that's on the front page as a lead magnet, or we'll build it for them, and then we'll run the quiz. Because remember, as Dan has probably told Jill multiple times, Jill's technically asking to get married pretty close to the first date. Because she's going for, give me all of your information so I can send you this physical package. Now, they don't know they're getting everything else. They think they're just getting the DVD, hence the shock and awe factor, which is really well done. Now, the issue is they're taking people who know nothing about them, they're watching a video, and then saying, go get the DVD. I'd be curious if we tested some pre-funnel pages of take the quiz or get a free report, where we baby step them and get them to opt in with less information. Maybe an email, phone number, and then after a couple steps, offer the DVD and see if we could get quiz people, let's say, at a whole lot less than $5 a pop, and then convert them into DVD people and see, A, what does that do to our ad spend? And then what does it do to our cost to acquire an ultimate customer? But the DVD offer is the one they has built a lot of their business and what they started with, and is proven to be successful, and they know that they convert when they send these. So it's what we started with, and it's what they originally hired us for the doodle video for. But in the future, I'd love to test some pre-DVD offers and see how that optimizes things. But obviously right now the DVD is going gangbusters. I'm just wondering, those people who aren't ready for a DVD yet, or who aren't ready to physically part with their physical contact information, if we give them something, and that's why we're saving them all for retargeting, if we give them something, can we get some of them back with a, hey, let me buy you a drink before I go home with you, warm them up a little bit, and then get them back on the DVD plan?
Yeah, some simple like definitely something.
Even if we take the transcript of the DVD, the script, graphic design it and make it look like a 20 or 50 page PDF, get our free report and opt them in for that, and then say, you got the report, now let's mail you the DVD.
Yeah, I was thinking the free report concept too. Maybe go back and do some more of that. And actually, as you get the, maybe I should jump ahead and send you the next stuff out.
And the speed. I mean, even the speeding ticket, sales letter, they could opt in for. And I said this on another week. The first week I got this on this call was, I love that it's the theme of a speeding ticket. Where's the actual speeding ticket?
Yeah.
Make a fake speeding ticket and put it in, like have Travis, the 3D mail, or whoever does your fulfillment, design what looks like a real speeding ticket from a cop going, given to John Smith because he threw 90 plus miles an hour or whatever. Fine is 19 because you get 1997 or whatever it is. We have approximately about 5 minutes left. Other comments or questions?
Seth, I was wondering, I had this idea based on some of the the videos I've watched on your on the Tutorify and everything, and you talk a lot about you just mentioned the 3D mailers or lumpy mail or whatever that term is.
Yep, 3D mail.
Is there any way to recreate that digitally? So almost like a digital 3D mail, digital lumpy mail. I watched one of your videos and it was going through all the national holidays, right? Every month as a chocolate day, whatever, all that stuff, right? And I came up with a lot of good ideas, but I'm like, I don't think I've got the marketing budget to go out and make huge, nor do I have a list of the, lumpy mail. But I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if spring cleaning, you could send a digital lumpy mail and had a digital coupon for whatever attached to it, or something to that effect. Do you know of any? Does that exist?
I'm not sure because I'm not in. I think digital lumpy mail. So the only example that is popping in my head right now is I have a referral source who is also famous in the world of Planet Dan. That if I say his name, Jill will know who he is. He did a digital version of his shock and awe box. So it was a beautiful looking website where you could download the PDFs, watch the videos, listen to the audios, etc., and consume the file folder stacked in the right order of all the different pages that are supposed to go in it. It's gorgeous. It looks really cool. You couldn't render it. It wouldn't work on an iPhone. You have to do it on like a desktop or a laptop because the super high-end flash, whatever programming he used to make it. It's cool. I don't know if he ever tested doing digital versus direct mail only. I guarantee you if I had emailed Kevin Harrington the contents of my shock and awe box when I first met him and he said, yeah, you can send me whatever you're going to send me, it would not have had this. His secretary would not have pulled him out of a meeting, called me and said, this is the coolest email I've ever gotten. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you can't make it work. I have no idea. I mean, I guess you could send them, like there's e-greeting cards that you open and they online and they fold open and that little plays you a little song. I've never saved one. I delete them all. I don't even open half of them when my relatives send them to me. Gotcha. However, when they send me a physical one, I open it. So if you could do it, you might. I don't know if it would have the same effect. I get why you would do it. I've never seen anybody try and do it. I don't know if that means no one's thought of it, in which case more power to you, or no one's made it work, or everyone's just assumed that mail would work better. On the plus side, there is lumpy mail you can do really cheap. I mean, some of my most famous lumpy mail campaigns for financial advisors, since you are one I bought a box of earplugs. So, you know, like to sleep.
Yeah.
But I went to an industrial manufacturer, like a construction company supplier, and bought them from them because I got a box of like 1,000 earplugs for like $5.
Wow.
You got a little plastic package of, 2 earplugs for like pennies.
Right.
And I stapled those to the top of a letter and said, are you sick and tired of hearing your friends complain about the stock market? Stick these earplugs in your ears and hand them my business card. Okay. Was basically the concept. And it worked really well. And it didn't increase the postage at all because, again, they weigh nothing.
Right.
I've done aspirin, which, again, weighs nothing. Is the stock market giving you a headache? Is your marketing giving you a headache? My most notorious financial advisor lumpy mail campaign was when my daughter Ella was born. She was a preemie. So we lived in the NICU for a little while. And so I sent fake FedEx, red, white, and blue, fake FedEx envelope. Stapled to the letter was a preemie baby diaper.
I remember.
Filled in the diaper were black jelly beans. And the headline was, are you crapping your pants about the stock market? Now, the first time I sent that letter, I used M&Ms, which I learned was a huge mistake because I mailed them and it was like I was mailing them in April, May, and June, and they all melted. And I got serious complaint phone calls because it melted and people thought it was real shit that I sent them. And they were like, this is disgusting. What's wrong with you? I'm calling the cops. This is harassment. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm in Buffalo. I didn't think that in another state it would be warm enough to melt. So then I replaced jelly beans with don't melt. And we got, I had a 32% response rate on that letter, which is insane in direct mail. Now that's not counting the complaints I got of the people who said, who said, you're sick. And I said, thank you. If you don't have a sense of humor, I don't want you as a client anyway.
Right.
Jelly beans don't cost much either. So there's ways to do it really cheap.
Okay. All right. So because it spurred a lot of thoughts in my head, and I thought.
And in terms of you saying you don't have a list, if you want, I'll hook you up with Mark, who's our list broker. He works at the #1 compiled list firm in the country. And we resell lists to clients all the time. I had a client in San Diego recently buy like CTOs of businesses with 20 employees, like it's a IT company, and they want to go in and replace their IT provider. And I think it was like $100 they paid for a list of a couple thousand people. Okay. So lists and lumpy mail can be a lot cheaper than you think. You could buy a list. You could buy a list of a couple hundred. In our financial advisor coaching program, we say get a list of 300 people, drip on it, every week or every 14 days for less than 3 months, and you'll own that entire market because they will see you all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking like it's the Chinese New Year and the Year of the Dog is coming up, so I gotta.
You should definitely do something about the Year of the
I
Dog.
have to use that.
You could, if you want, you can talk to Mark about getting a list of dog owners in your area. I guarantee you it won't cost much.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'd like that.
I mean, if you want, I mean, unless you're buying lists of like, even the list this tech company bought of like, they wanted emails of the chief technology officer, which is a lot harder to get because you have to have permission. It's that we have to go rent an opt-in email list because you can't spam. But to get like 5,000 email addresses was like $800.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I'd love to get that.
All right. So I will make an intro with you to Mark. With that, I will leave you all until next week. Jill, you and I have a call scheduled next week. Galen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Good to see you. Your first video is in production, should be done by the end of the week at the latest. And then the second video, the IRA video, I just got, Jennifer sent me the revised script, so we'll have it revoiced and we'll get that into production right away.
Great. Thank you.
You are welcome. Happy to see that your site and everything is finally getting done. Okay.
Well, all right. Very good. Thank you.
Awesome, everybody. See you next week.
Take care.